slowing down, but maybe in the future that you will, or precautions that you take?
Well, I'm always, as you get older, I'm 47 now, so
Yeah.
you gotta, you know, I knew at an early age
Mhm.
how important things like exercise and eating right and all that stuff was,
Sure.
because I wanted to be able to play the guitar for a long time,
Sure.
and it's paying off,
Yeah.
So I still feel great. I mean, I feel better now than ever, and I'm playing better now than ever in my life. I think maybe at some point, I had more chops. I was connecting maybe more
Mhm.
with like fast notes,
Right.
but I could still play plenty fast enough, and that that's not really the issue. Having control in the kind of thing that I do is really just one tool that you use as an expressional instrument,
Mhm.
and but you start to the little things creep up, you know.
Sure.
There's problems here now and then,
Mhm.
and you have to start taking precautions. After like playing for a long time, you have to let, because there's all little muscles in there,
Sure.
and it's like lifting weights or something. You gotta let them chill out,
Right.
and sometimes it takes a little longer to let them chill out,
Right.
But I'm not concerned. I'll always be able to play, God willing,
Sure.
And it
Sure.
doesn't matter. People think that your facility on the instrument is the important thing. To a degree, it's very important,
Mhm.
but really, it all comes from here. It's your choice of what you decide to play, even if you have one finger.
Right.
It all comes from here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very cool. It's very inspirational.
Well.
Also, kind of a side note, you used to play with David Lee Roth,
Hmm.
who's getting back with Van Halen. What are your thoughts on that?
I hope I can get a ticket. I'd love to see it.
Do you
Wouldn't
still keep in contact with him?
I haven't spoken to Dave for a while.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we live in two different worlds.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we're on good terms. We always were.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
Dave and I were very good friends at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Now-
I think I'm really glad they're doing it. It's about time,
Yeah.
And I saw the set list.
Did you?
Yeah, it's just, man, it's gonna be great.
Cool. Very cool. Now, your show tonight. Is there any surprises or anything that you do differently on this tour?
Yeah, sure. There's a common thread that runs through any artist's music, and it's the artist's musical sensibilities.
Mhm.
And I'm a rock musician
Sure.
primarily, so there's always, I like to swing, in a lot of directions musically, from very aggressive to extraordinarily exquisitely sensitive, so that's always a constant.
Mhm.
But I also like to switch up my band after every 2 years or so, because I don't want to be tied to any one sound or any group of musicians, because that kind of stifles the potential, But my last band, The Breed, was a pretty extraordinary band, so I kept them for about 6 years.
Yeah.
But now I've got something totally different, and I added 2 string players to the band.
Wow.
And I am telling you, you've never seen anything like this. It's a very interesting show.
Mhm.
It's got a lot of dynamics, and when I put a show together, based on the kind of show I like to see when I go out to see a show,
Mhm.
and primarily, I want to be a good entertainer, because that's what artists are for.
Sure.
Create stuff for other people to escape for a little while.
Right.
When you come to the show, you get a great opportunity to escape, because I do campy things like change clothes, make stupid jokes, stuff like that. But I play, and everybody in the band plays, And these string players, you haven't seen anything like it. It was very hard to find them,
Yeah.
and they're not. When I first thought of the idea of putting a couple of violin players in the band, I got all these players that came aboard that were all these metal players, just shredding, and they were awful,
Right.
But these guys, I found Alex DePue, and he, and Anne Marie Calhoun,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not rock musicians per se,
Mhm.
but they know how to, generate that energy.
Mhm.
They're not completely classically trained either. I mean, they're very aware of the classical formats, and they can play anything, but they have that extra edge. They're contemporary virtuosos,
Right.
and we utilize that to the finest tuned degree.
Great. That sounds like a great
Yeah, it's a
show.
great entertaining
Yeah.
musical experience.
That's
I
neat.
think. Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm going to be there tonight.
Good.
I'm excited. Now I'm more excited
All
to,
right.
to go see it. Okay, I have one last question for you. Just Like Paradise was a music video
Yeah.
that you were in with David Lee Roth, and you had this big heart-shaped guitar
Yep.
with two necks on one side and then another neck.
Yep.
On it. Is that like your I know you make design guitars. Was that one of your designs? And where is that guitar right now?
Well, I designed it because I'm kind of an extrovert in a sense, you know?
Yeah.
And I wanted to get on stage with a big red heart on.
Right.
And I just thought...
I just got that.
I just thought, you know, what can I do that's completely preposterous?
Right.
You know?
And that was
And back
it.
in the 80s, you can do stuff like that.
Right. Right.
So I created this guitar that, you know, was shaped like a big heart, and it had these... And, you know, I learned how to play it.
Right.
But I didn't really make, you know, any real interesting musical statement with it back
Right.
in those days.
Right.
So I had to have two made, because if you have one, you got to have two, because if something happens with it, you
There,
know.
of course.
So I ended up later on, after all the big rock star stuff, I was working on a record called The Ultrazone, and I said, I gotta do something with that guitar that's very musical,
Right.
because otherwise it's just a prop, you
Right.
know. So I wrote this piece of music called Fever Dream, and it's pretty amazing because I utilize all three necks and I play it like this, and it's really fascinating to watch, you
Yeah.
know. And I did a tour with it, and then I wanted to. Then I sold it, or actually gave it to the Hard Rock Cafe, along with one of my outfits, you know. And
Right.
they put it up, and it travels around the world. And
Right.
and then I had the spare one, so I figured. I gave it to the Hard Rock before I had the spare made, so I needed to have another before I made Fever Dream. So I needed to have another spare. So I had a
Right.
big Purple Heart made. And then at the end of the Ultrazone tour, I raffled it off.
Right.
People could buy a raffle ticket for $1, and the money went to my charity. The
What is your
Make a
charity?
Noise Foundation. You go to makeanoisefoundation.com. And I see all the great things we do there. And we raised quite a bit of money. I think about $20,000 or
Wow.
something. And then
Nice.
some, 15-year-old kid in Sweden won it for
Right.
$1. So now it's,
Lucky kid.
he's in his little teenage bedroom, is
Right.
hanging on his wall is Steve's triple neck guitar.
That'd be something interesting piece to
Yeah.
talk about when you walk in.
So now when he goes into his bedroom, he can have a
Right.
big red heart on.
Or purple. That one's
Or
purple.
purple
then.
heart.
That one. That might be a problem with that.
No,
Yeah.
purple.
All right. Well, I'm very honored that you took time out to sit with our station, 97.9 The Loop. We're huge fans
Oh, thank you.
of your music, and your
thanks.
passion for music is just
appreciate it.
inspirational. So thank you so much.
Well, thanks for coming down to the
Appreciate
House
it.
of Blues here.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, cheers.
Mike, what do you like about Steve Vai?
The things he can do with that guitar is just amazing. Like Steve Vai, like when he starts playing, like everyone can tell, like it's Steve Vai. So it's pretty amazing.
Have you always been a fan of his?
For about the last 4 years, yeah. So yeah, it's been a while, but it's awesome. He's awesome.
What are you most impressed by him?
Just the way that he's a real technical player, but he can still like make awesome melodies and stuff like that. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for talking to us today. Thanks. All right, we're here with Brent. Brent, you're about to meet Steve Vai as well. What do you like so much about Steve Vai?
Oh, he's a phenomenal guitar player. His music just gets through to you, gets you through. You have some bad times. You just listen to him a little bit. It takes you away from it all. He's just phenomenal, and he's like a real person. He nice guy.
And I know a lot of people don't know his name. It's not such a mainstream name, but I know he's influenced lots of musicians and things like that. Why do you think that?
Well, I think guitar players just happen to find him. People into music, they just word of mouth through the guitar community. It travels quick.
Are you excited to see the show tonight?
Oh, I'm going nuts. I'm tripping. I can't wait. I've been just going Steve Vai nuts for a week, just waiting for it.
All right, thanks for talking to us today. And what brings you out today? Like, why are you such a huge fan of Steve Vai?
Just an amazing talent. Just something about the music just gets into you when you hear it. It just kind of resonates unlike anything else. And plus, I've got to meet him before, so he's a really great guy, too. So anything for him.
We just finished the interview with Steve Vai. I was so honored, and it was such an awesome time interviewing him. He's very inspiring, actually. I was surprised. Well, I shouldn't be surprised because he's a legendary guitar player. I want to thank you guys for watching the video from 97.9 The Loop. I'm April, your 2007 Loop Rock Girl.